There is no in between.
He is so intolerant. He is just done with that shit.
And of course, know what it is? It's the shitty mask that came back. That's what he wanted to do.
So we're getting to that. So Zaius says we don't want martyrs. Now, this is also where I find the inconsistency in what they've done with Zaius in this film. So we go from...
He wanted to kill humans. All the humans are for him, but now he doesn't want martyrs.
Well, so he wanted that. Then... So we had the Zaius from the first film, which was highly different than this one. When during Ursus' speech, he seems completely either perturbed or whatever that is that he's trying to convey. Then we have the scene with Cornelius and Zira where he's almost like, you got to keep things while I'm going to keep an eye on them. But now he doesn't want martyrs. Wouldn't having a martyr actually help his cause that he kind of tried to outline to Cornelius and Zira, where it was like, look, they're on the wrong. A martyr becomes a symbol of a cause of an anti-establishment type thing to stand up against it. A massacre, Kent State occurs, and, to an extent, those protesting, I'm not saying they liked it, but it gives them something even more like, look what they did to us. It's the same thing for him. So this character is kind of everywhere that he can be as far as his stances go.
Well, the original note, in the script really doesn't do much other than doesn't really say anything about just Zaius being with them, right, in the original script. And then, of course, we have this scene here where we get a little bit more of Zaius. So I feel like the change, the addition to what they actually shot with Zaius trotting beside him, don't be hard on the old boy Zira, trying to make him a little bit more sympathetic than what was originally in the script. I feel like they changed that line to make it, we're about to get the scene with Zaius, and so they wanted to give Zira and Cornelius a little more dialogue to make us understand why he would be sympathetic versus what the original script said.
I just find that so odd. Why are we sympathetic at all to Zaius? Zaius has been the enemy.
Yeah.
He was the bad guy of the first film. He was the one that stood counter to our heroes making progress. And suddenly, he's on both sides of it. So, he has these moments. He says that to Zaius. I did find, again, going back to David Walker's Ursus, I found the moment between Ursus and Zaius where they were silent and sort of just looking at each other.
In the church?
No, and when they're sitting on the horses, they have a moment where they're silent, just looking. I found myself replaying that entire comic series, going, "Oh, they're friends."
What the backstory is between
and
them.
I could, say, I'm going to have to tweet to this writer and say, "Is that one of the things that kind of at least lit the candle for you?" Because there is a knowing look between two people at that. I'm sorry, between two monkeys.
I think the
apes, not monkeys.
The two
monkeys
words
have
that.
Tails.
The two words that kind of frame this a little better for me is when Zaius says, "Get off the road, young people." And I think we're putting ourselves in a situation, again, looking at American culture, where we've got kind of the militaristic and a party that's in control. We've got the young people, the young chimps in this case, that are protesting, exactly, the idealists that are doing. And then we've got the person that is probably the voter that is trying to be sympathetic between the two of them, probably older, probably whiter. I mean, that's what I'm envisioning him being. He is, at this point, he is my grandfather.
Who Zaius is?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is my grandfather, and he is trying to push through his policies and ideals and support nationalism and the government and all those kinds of things, while at the same time trying to be sympathetic as much as he can, even though he's not going to go there. That's just, I saw him as my grandparents.
I think what I see, I don't disagree at all with what you're saying, and I can put myself in Paul Dane's mind and say that's what he was going for as a writer. What I see is this is a different writer than the first screenplay. This is a different writer's interpretation of that character.
Sure.
It is not consistent with who it was, the ideology that went behind that character. And if anything, if there's one thing that's disheartening to me in this film that I watch it, is what they've done to Zaius. Because, again, let's look at all the bad guys throughout history. If you suddenly negate them, it changes the landscape of that film. And I find myself very sad that Zaius is not the one leading this charge in a way.
If all of a sudden Darth Vader starts going, well, the rebels aren't that bad.
Yeah.
Come on.
That really is kind of it. Hang on, young people.
Yeah.
Young people.
Yeah. I guess we've introduced a new villain, Ursus, in this scenario, and in order to make him
the bad guy, you have to
super bad guy, you have to soften
the other bad guy.
Yeah.
However, okay, we're going to use a Star Wars parallel again. We had Darth Vader in the first one, and then we get the Emperor, and it doesn't. Right. You don't have to soften Vader.
Yeah.
You add another element
until the third movie. And then you soften him.
How interesting would it be? That is true. Oh God, how interesting would that be if we get Zaius as the bad guy in the first one, and then we meet Ursus, and we kind of realize that he's sort of answering behind the scenes to this militaristic leader who's been using science to oppress people. There's something there you could have done with the two of them and the dichotomy of that relationship that might have been very interesting.
But in trying to push this narrative of the current political situation in America, he had to change,
I guess. So let's go back to what Sean talked about with what the chimps are saying as they protest, because I had some...
Do they have that in the script, what they were saying? The
things they're
that they were
calling
doing?
out? Or was
they
that
don't have them all written down. They just they have signs like, hang on, let me find that moment.
Peace.
I see peace at the bottom of that one page.
Like peace,
Yeah,
not
no, it specifically
war.
says, so it says...
It's like wage peace, not war.
All gorillas except Zaius, they turn a corner to confront chimpanzee student demonstration. They're specifically calling it a student demonstration, right?
Yeah.
That's why they had bad pullover masks. They're students. They can't afford the real
A
mask.
pathetic one. A half dozen earnest young chimpanzees are sitting down across the road. The central two demonstrators hold up banners, paint scrawled, "Give us peace."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all they describe.
They don't have their chanting yet.
That's all they have that describes as
So
"Give us peace."
I think there's some things in this, to be fair, that I think are great. I think the shaky cam that they use is evocative of news cam footage that you would have seen in something again like
60s.
Kent State and all those kind of protests that occurred. I think it's handled pretty well up to a certain point. Then it gets very flat the way they shot, where it just goes to reverse angles, and we see this, and that's in the next minute, but we see the students cart away.
Okay, yeah.
Use your words.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out, because we're straddling those minutes here going into this
It
conversation.
does, and it really does. But
We're in the breaking up part of it.
the reason I'm trying to search for that is that they didn't act like protesters, because if you think about how many protests, especially in this media age where we see this kind of stuff all the time, you see how protests can change, how it becomes peace and this. But then again, let's look at some of the rallies where it's what's coming to mind, but where the KKK met resistance, and then they start fighting about ideologies. I expected that seems a little more realistic when it's no more war, and then it's copper, they turn to the coppers, that kind of thing.
They're going with nonviolence. That's their whole thing.
I'm just saying
that by it.
And I'm fine with that. What I'm saying is the conversation should shift. It's this very no more war, no more war.
Yeah, you get a whole lot of peace, peace. Peace, no war.
That
peace,
was exactly
no war,
it.
Peace.
It's literally like a song that is on one note. Na 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 na.
Well, I need to go back and watch it again. Do you think anything that was done in post as opposed to actually?
Oh, I think every bit of that was post.
All the audio
Right.
was
So
post.
you've just got some random guys in the studio just kind of making
Going,
those
peace,
voices
peace,
versus
no
trying to
more.
actually record these guys out there that are shouting. Not that it would have been much more exciting, but it made it sound a little more organic.
I do think that for this entire week, there are a couple of moments where you could tell this was a bunch of Foley and ADR.
Oh, yeah,
where it was
ADR.
just people, and they were so bored with what they were doing.
Peace. No
it's-
fighting. War. No war.
I wish there'd been a little more zest to it.
Yeah.
But at least we have conflict. I like that they were sitting on the road right where they need to turn to leave Albuquerque.
The fact that you're seeing now that the ape society is divided.
It's torn, yeah.
That
Right.
there is not an agreement that all humans are evil. Let's use them for test subjects and kill them when we don't need them. That there are people saying, hey, no. Even if they're saying leave the humans alone, we don't know why they're saying no war, peace. Maybe it's just because they disagree with it fundamentally with war, or maybe it's because they believe the humans should be left alone, or maybe they support the humans. We don't know this stuff yet.
I still just
Or at
don't-
all. I don't know.
I still just don't know what they're going to war for. Like, I
Yeah,
really
what-
just
what-
don't understand.
It-
They haven't set up anything for me at all to make me understand
In-
why they're going to war.
In the movie, no. At
Other
this
than setting
point,
up
no. And I don't know if they do it all, but yeah, like going back to the comic, at least the comic gives you a reason
An
why
ideology,
Ursus
right.
hates these people, and I don't know if they give you that reason in the movie at all.
It seems more like you should send out a military party to clear out the humans from raiding your crops. And are you going to find enough resistance to take cannons?
I mean, the humans are pretty, as far as we've seen, pretty meek,
Very.
stupid. So you would think it wouldn't be that hard to set out 3 or 4 guards around
Right.
wherever the crops that you're trying to protect and just shoo them off when they come up.
It would make more sense to me if we had Zaius having the conversation with Ursus about who Taylor was, what he was, wanting to know where he came from, if he came from the other side of the Forbidden Zone. It would almost, if we had set up Taylor as Ursus knowing who Taylor was, and then he might be from a competing tribe, that would make more sense to me.
Yeah.
Even if that little piece had happened early on to let me know why they're having this conflict, why they're marching off to somewhere.
Could you not have created a tie to the original with that thought in mind, where it really was that Ursus is concerned about the evolution of mankind?
That there is a smart human out there, and if there's one,
that
there
now
can be many.
We've seen this. We've seen that our crops have really been demolished. Imagine what's going to happen now. You have a talking human. You have someone that can lead this. We have something to fight against,
which would give a lot more tension to the idea of why Brent can't talk and needs to be hidden and needs to be away and not reveal himself.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, it's not as if at this point the apes don't know that a human could talk, because a human talked in front of a whole crowd of people.
Right.
So that is not a hidden piece of knowledge anymore.
I got to thinking about it the other day while doing, of all things, I was cleaning house, and I couldn't help but think about Minute of the Apes. And I started thinking about Paul Dane and what a thankless task he was given to step in on this film, which was rushed into production, already had numerous treatments preceding what he got. And it was, again, he probably got those notes of, we like this, somehow put it together.
Right.
Because then when you guys get into the subsequent films, which he wrote, he does he begins to actually glue this together, and it makes a lot of sense when given the time to do it. So I just wish he would have been given a few more drafts to polish this, I won't say turd, but this something.
I didn't realize he wrote how many of the future ones did he write?
I believe he wrote the next three. Okay. Escape, Conquest, and Battle. All but certain. We can look that up in between episodes.
Finished off the series?
Yeah, he was the writer for 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm pretty sure we'll look that up and confirm that.
All right.
And right now, if I'm wrong, there are people listening going, Todd, you're an idiot. But I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Well, people are saying, Todd, you're an idiot anyway. So.
I'm so used to that. But that person's name is Shelley.
Hey-o.
Anyway, I think that's it for this one. That is Monday in the books. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Until then, do us the favor, go to iTunes, whether you use or not, look us up and review us, because we want to continue to do this. We need more people to listen as we go. Give us a review on iTunes. It is the granddaddy of them all. Let us know what you think. It helps other people find us because it ups us in their algorithm. And that's all we want, is more ape fans out there listening. So for Richard and Sean, that's Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes.
The only good human is a dead human.